Well, it's that time again. Thoughts from an old goalie and Pee-wee coach. This week I wanted to talk about the NHL's EBUG. Last week the Seattle Kraken held tryouts for their emergency backup goalie. I wish I could have been there. Oh, it would have been so cool. Now the EBUG scenario has gained a lot of attention over the years after a 42-year-old Zamboni driver named David Ayres got to suit up back in 2020 for the Carolina Hurricanes against the Toronto Maple Leafs. He took over in the second period. He got a couple goals scored on him right away. Everybody was kind of freaking out. But then the third period came along. He made 7 saves and he got the win. So what a wild ride I'm sure that was. It's all happened before, notably Scott Foster for the Chicago Blackhawks back in 2018. And then in 2016, equipment manager Jorge Alves suited up for the Carolina Hurricanes. And his reign lasted about 8 seconds. Good job. Let's talk about what is an emergency backup goaltender. An emergency backup goaltender steps in when a team does not have 2 healthy goaltenders by way of injury, illness, or suspension. That happens sometimes. And if they can't get a replacement from the minor leagues in time, what are you going to do? It's all lined out in the CBA. An emergency backup goaltender does not count toward the team's active roster. That's a main concern. If a goalie is needed, the club may not have 2 goaltenders on its playing roster, and the club is at the active roster limit. The club is permitted to exceed that active roster for purposes of adding a goaltender to its active roster, which is the replacement goaltender, to replace the unavailable goaltender. Whew, I know it's all over the place, right? Here's where it gets even weirder. A team can sign a goaltender to a tryout contract in this way and exceed the 23-man roster limit up to 2 times in a regular season. The team can exceed the roster limit with the emergency goaltender for up to 48 hours at a time. Now, if an emergency backup goaltender is signed, he and the 2 NHL goaltenders are all allowed and permitted to take warm-ups at the same time. Now, if the reason for bringing in the EBUG was due to illness or injury to one of the NHL goaltenders, and all 3 take warm-ups, and it's determined that both NHL goaltenders are healthy and ready to dress, the team is still counted as using one of their 2 available goaltender exemptions for the season. Yeah, I know, it's a little complicated. It gets weird. Do they get paid? Emergency backup goaltenders aren't on full NHL contracts, so they're not subject to the league's minimum salary, which works out, I think, to be just around $4,000 per day. Not bad. Instead, the goaltenders sign one of 2 types of tryout contracts. The first of which is a professional tryout contract, a PTO. Players on PTOs are permitted to be paid just $500 and you get to keep your jersey. That's what they say. Who can be an emergency backup goaltender? Well, the CBA also states that in order to serve as an emergency backup goaltender, a player must not have a current contractual obligation anywhere. So in addition, the player can't terminate an existing contractual obligation to meet the requirement. So who gets the EBUG job in Seattle? Well, that hasn't been announced yet, but whoever it is, good job, awesome for you. And do you need a new best friend? Because I'm there for you. All right. I'm Justin McDonald for Gloves Off, Sticks Down. Follow us on Facebook or go to TalkCastPDX.com for all the episodes. Till next time, keep on grinding.